Okay. Okay. Um, High school. Um, yeah. Well, how y'all doing? And how are you doing? And how are y'all keeping? Um, okay. Here's something to talk about. High school, and high school dropout. I now I know what you're thinking. Now maybe I don't know what you're thinking, but but if you can see this out, it's not bad. It's not good. Like like you usually you usually are being. How's it all going? Yeah, and how you doing? How y'all keeping? Um, okay, high school dropout. Don't don't do it. No, I don't. No, I'm not. No, now I am not encouraging that you should do this. Okay, I am. I am. Now now I'm not in. Now I'm not encouraging to drop out of school. Okay. Now now I'm not in. I am not. Let's get this straight. That I'm not saying to dodge high school and drop out of it. I am not encouraging that. How, however, I am, however, I am encouraging if you, if you did, if you did some high school and consider the possibility of doing a year, and consider the possibility of doing a year and 2 months, be, be, before you make the move of dropping out. Like it's not a bad, like it's not good. Like every parent, like like every every parent wants their kids to go to high school and get the education they never got, or the high school that they dodged. That's that is partly the case, but it's not actually the case. That hmm, that is partly the case, but it's not the case. I, that is partly the case, but it's not the entire case. Dropping dropping out of high school is a bad thing. Dropping out of high school isn't what I would consider to be cool, but 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 for but for a lot but for a lot of you but for a lot of you that are that are considering, I myself personally don't think it's cool to drop out of high school and become that high school dropout. But if you but for any of you talent scouts, but for any of you who are who who are in who are cons- considering becoming a high school dropout, don't do it all at once. Don't become it all at once. At least do a year and a couple of months before actually making that consideration. You know, like at least you could say you have some education there when you do make the move. You know, a year and 5 months, like a year and 2 months or a year and 5 months is is definitely a lot of high school experience. And and what I'm saying and what I'm saying is not directed at the ones that are not considering it. I it's it's directed at it's directed at the ones that are considering it as as a beginning to a kind of a solid uh, a solid and hot dog um, type of furthering your career. Like it's not like if you want to go longer than a year, then I would then sure, why not? But at least like like I think like I think I think it's cool to at least have some education. If if you don't do the complete high school circuit, at least you'll get at least you'll have a year and a couple of months, and then you can say that you did it. You know, you can drop out right there. You know, now I'm not encouraging it entirely to do that, but but for some of you that need to start life earlier, then okay, fine. You know, like at least at least you could put it in a resume that I did high school. I I got a year and 2 months worth of that of the high school education, which oddly enough isn't education, but it's the gateway to it. You know, you you need you need to be you need to remember that high school is not really the education world. It's it's the gateway. It's the gateway to it. It's the gateway to the education world. The real education world is out away from the high school. You know, the the real education starts it starts at high school. Yeah, that's 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 the doorway to it. High school is the doorway to that, but it's not actually that. You know, you, you have to go out of the high school, away from it, to get the real education. You know, seeing what you can do. Rather it's being a gas attendant, rather it's being a gas, rather you want to, you know, rather you want to become a gas, you know, putting like I dropping out of high school is not a bad thing, and it's not entirely a good thing either. But at least a year and 2 months or 3 months is better than not going at all, because at least you could say, like in a resume, that you did high school. You know, because high school is only the doorway to the education road. The real education highway um, is actually not in high school. It's actually out of the high school circuit. You know, because there's a because there's a lot of things the teachers won't even go near to help you with that. They won't go near they won't go near the things that you really need to learn and able to make something of yourself. Like this isn't a teacher. Like you're not going to be you're not going to be the next teacher. You know, to 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 a lot of you that are considering like being a basketball coach, uh, uh, or ballroom dancing, or you know, it's about taking courses. It's about taking courses either online or if you go into them. It, it's about taking courses. It's about going to pick up some courses. High, high, high school's got nothing to do with showing you the ropes and what you need in life. They're showing you what is. High school's got nothing to do with the real education that is outside. You know, they're they're more interested in teaching you what is inside the high school. You know, math, arithmetic, uh, uh, multiplication, adding, and that's all that, and and that's all good, and that is good for you, but it's not the tip of the iceberg. You know, the tip of the iceberg is uh, is going away from the high school. What teachers are not teaching you is the stuff that you should be learning in high school. However, it's not that way. Like they're not they're not gonna teach you where like high school high school can teach you a lot of arithmetic, math, money, and things that are high school curricular, and high school and things that are of the high school curriculum. But that and and that is good for you. It is good for you to start with that. But 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 I've got a shocker for you. That's not the entire. You know, in in able to get the real in able to get real education. And I'm not saying high school isn't real education. What what I'm trying to what I'm trying to say is that what I'm trying to say is that high school is just a little toothpick of the education process. That's what I'm not. That's what I'm saying. I'm I'm not saying what is taught in high school isn't good for you. It totally is. But by comparison to the world outside, high school is a little itty bitty toothpick that doesn't really do a lot. What you can learn in high school isn't entirely what you learn outside of the high school. You know, they're going by the books. They're going by uh, they're going by the books. They're going by the high school uh, curriculum, and and that's all good for you. But it's not. You know, it's it's not the icing on the cake. The real icing on the cake of education. See, it's all good for you to start off with the high school experience, but that's that's only the gate. But that's only the gateway to the education. You know, what they do in high school is good for you. I'm not saying it isn't. What I'm trying to say is that it might not be. What I'm trying to say is that I'm everything that's done in high school is good for you. It's totally good for you just to start off in high school. You know, so you have some sense of the world around you in high school. But when it comes right down to it, it's not the high school experience. It's not the high school that's going to show you what life is. That's your job to show you what life is. You know, take a that's not the job of a high school teacher to show you what life. You know, they'll only go so far. Like, you know, like High school is a toothpick by comparison to what is outside, and the stuff that you should be, and the stuff teachers should be teaching you. Uh, like I'm not saying high school's not good. Like all that arithmetic, math, and stuff like that. That's all good. That is all that is good for you, but it's not the all. But it's not like anything that's high school is actually good for you. Unfortunately, there's a lot of things that aren't taught in high schools that you need to go out into the world to get, and, and that and there's where it turns. There's where it turns. You you have to go out of the. You need to go out into the world to discover who you really are. And no teacher in high school is going to do that for you because that's you. You need you need to do that. You need to realize that okay, I did a year in high school. I did a year and 3 months in high school. Now I want to get out of here and try out what I've got and try out what is like everything in high school is good for you. And I'm not saying it isn't. It's totally relevant. It's totally relevant to take the high school equivalency and do that. But when it comes right down to it, it's not the high school students, it's not the high school teachers that are going to teach you where to go from there. That's not their job. Their job is to go buy the books and by what the high school and by what high school will allow to be taught. The the rest of it, the rest of it is discovered by you. You know, you can decide that high school is they've had enough high school. You can decide to quit earlier. You can decide to move more like outside and away from the high school and take up what you need there. Like I mean, high school is just a toothpick of what you're really going to get in life. Because see, like high school is just a toothpick of what you're going to be getting if you like I mean high school is only a toothpick by comparison to what you could pick up. You see, high school is a toothpick of what you're going to be getting when you make the move to get out of there. You know, like like I don't mean to repeat it in like I'm not like I don't mean to repeat this, but high school is not like I don't mean to repeat this, but high school is only a toothpick of what you could pick up when you leave there, depending on when you are getting tired of the whole high school thing. You know, I mean, if you want to, if you want to pick up the old, like, okay, I've had enough of this. You know, I want to get out there and make things happen, and not just sit in a class. Like that's I mean, that's the whole thing right there. That's the whole thing. That's the whole thing right there. That's the peanut in the peanut butter jar that you need to realize is that you're not going to get it in high school. You're only going to get You're only going to get the high school version of that. but for a lot of you that are trying to, you know, that are, the high school dropout is only useful when you've come to realize that, hey, what am I doing in here? I did a year and a couple of months. I did a year and 3 months. If I'm gonna make it anywhere, if I'm gonna make anything of myself, I got to get out of here and into the real world, into the real stuff that's going to help you find out where you want to be in life, what you want to do in life. That when it comes to that realization, then the high school dropout is useful. It's actually useful. The high school dropout is actually useful. But you have to realize something in you, that high school is not enough. That's when the high school dropout is useful. Is when you finally realize, or come to the realization that high school is not enough. You need to go out there and find out if you can make something of yourself by yourself. And if you can help along the way, okay, fine. But at least you could say you did it. But at least you could say that you did high school for a year and a couple months. Like you don't need to complete it. Like you don't need to complete the whole circuit of high school to finally come to that realization of, oh, what am I doing here? There's so much I could be learning if I just get out of here. So only then that high school dropout is useful. But if you just gotta quit school and not have a backup plan, well, then the high school dropout is useless. You can't actually do it. Because you didn't come to that realization of, oh, I'm sitting in this chair in high school when I should be up there. It's only useless. Like the high school dropout is useless if you got nothing to back it up with. Like the high school dropout is only useful if you can use it to say, okay, like I've done a year and 2 months or 3 months of this high school jazz. Now I want to continue. Now I want to go out the door and continue searching for myself as what I'm good at. That high school dropout person is useful if you think about it like that. But if you're just hoping to drop out of high school and for no real reason at all, only then it's useless. Because you got nothing to back it up with. You got no further education. You don't have an education plan for your next move. And then it's useless because you didn't really graduate to the realization of, what am I doing here? There's more for me up there, but I'm sitting in this chair. You have to come to that realization ahead of time, before you make that move. You can't come up short and just drop out of high school because you thought it was a cool thing to do. There's where it becomes excruciatingly painful. Because high school dropout is an education. It's an educational tool to help you figure out where you want to go in life. But if you're just dropping out for dropping out, then forget it. Forget it. You might as well stay in high school for the rest of your life. If if you're just thinking of dropping out just just for the heck of it, you know, you might as well stay in high school until you're 35. If you're gonna be if you're gonna be thinking like that, you know, you might as well stay in high school until you're 35. If if you think that high school is like, you might as well stay in high school until you're well into your 30s. If dropping out of high school is the only reason for dropping out of high school, like you gotta have a back like you got to have a backup plan. You got to have a backup plan, and you need to come to the realization of why are you here? Why are you sitting in that classroom? And what can you do? You know, that high school, that realization of, oh, what am I? That realization of what am I doing here? I did a year and a couple of months. Now I want out of here so I can find out where I want to find out what I want to do. You know, if if you think about it like that, the high school dropout is useful. But if you're just trying to drop out of high school because you thought it was cool to drop out of high school, like, come on, like, that's not, like, you're not you're not doing it right. You're not doing that dropout stuff right. Like if you're just dropping out of high school because you figure you're too cool for high school, that is so the wrong way to do it. That is so the wrong way to do it. You're not too, like, that too cool for high school guys. That's not, you know, like, whoever invented that phrase, whoever invented that kind of thinking is not being very good, is not being anywhere useful. You need to realize that you do need to get out of there based on based on the realization that you should be going. You should not. You should not. Like, you should realize that you're not getting very far. Like, you should be able to get to that realization that if it's good, like, you should be able to realize this all by yourself, that high school was good for a year, but now you want out because you want to discover who you are, what you want to do, and what you want to become. Okay, then it's only then you can make the process to the high school dropout. You know, if you realize that, okay, I did a year and it got me nowhere. Like, if you can do a year and a month or a couple of months, you know, who is to say that you can't come up with something all by yourself? You can't. I mean, you can totally do that. You can totally do that. You know, learn to be the high school is only a toothpick version of what you're in for. You know, you got to be able to come up with a backup plan, and then an educational, like, you got, like, and able to get to that high school dropout move, like, and able to make that move of becoming a high school dropout. You have to at least do a year and 3 or 4 months, and then find out ways you want to do, and then find out and then study the ways of dropping out of high school, and pick up the baton on the other end. You know, you got you got to be able, you got to be able to have a backup plan even before you get into high school. Even before you get into high school, that okay, I'm going to do a year, and 2 or 3 or 4, and you gotta have a backup plan before you even get into high school. That you want to do that you want to do a year and 3 or 4 months, and then learn the ways of the high school dropout before actually becoming that. And then once you studied how to be it, you know, like if you have the successful run of a year, sorry, of a year and 3 or 4 months of the high school circuit, and then realize that okay, I did the high school circuit. I need to get out of here so I can do things. I need to get out of here if I'm ever going to make something of myself. And find out where that's going to lead. You know? There you have something. There you have something. Because now you've started, because now, I'm sorry for yelling. Like you did a whole year and 3 or 4 months before you got to that realization that, oh, okay, I did a year, I did as much as I could, and now I want to get out. I want to make something of myself. I can't do that if I'm still in this classroom. You know, I can't figure out what I want in my life if I'm just, you know, learning the trade. I'm not actually becoming, you know, that's what you need. That's what you need right there. You need to realize that okay, I did a year and 3 or 4 or 5 months. Now I want to get out of here. Now I want to make something of myself by myself and see where that takes me. See where that takes me.